So I just want to give you some context as to how humongous this thing is. This is 200 inches. It's insane.
A few months ago, Anchor sent me a package, and boy, what a surprise it was. I'm sure by now you've seen videos of this crazy projector, which is the Nebula X1 Pro. But just in case you haven't seen those videos or you're just unfamiliar with the product, it's a 4K triple laser projector built into a wheeled rugged chassis that unfolds into a 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos sound system. Basically, it's a home theater in a box. So what I want to do today is give you an overview of this product, basically show you the features, what makes it special, and of course, test its performance. And at the end of the video, I'll give you my thoughts on the overall system itself.
Soundcore focuses more on the audio department, so they make speakers, they make really good headphones, and Nebula makes the projectors. And of course, I have to disclose that they did send me this product to review and share with you what I think about it. Okay, I'm just gonna go over some key features or highlights about this projector before I show you some of the other stuff. So this is a 4K triple laser projector with a maximum brightness of 3500 ANSI lumens. So this thing gets really bright. Aside from it being a projector, this also is a pretty crazy speaker. So what you get aside from this crazy projector is an even crazier sound setup, because effectively you are getting a 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos setup in this X1 Pro. How you get that 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos setup from this form factor, you'll see in a little bit. Without a doubt, this thing is huge. It's nearly 70 pounds, but it's easy to move because it has wheels, and the exterior, the build quality is actually quite durable. This is actually IP43 rated, so it can withstand, you know, a light drizzle, some dust. Basically, it's meant to be used outdoors. Right over here in the front, if you open this, you'll see the lens. It's a motorized lens with a mini gimbal inside. It helps with centering the picture and making sure that things are aligned, even if the surface is possibly not perfect if you're using this outdoors.
This projector uses AI processing for HDR tone mapping and color calibration. It also has autofocus, multi-corner keystone, obstacle avoidance, and auto screen fit. You know, features that we've seen in other Nebula products. It also uses a 14-element all-glass lens for better clarity and thermal stability. And speaking of thermal, it uses a liquid cooling system, which improves thermal performance and aims for a quieter operation.
I'm just going to turn this around to show you what type of connections we have. Right here in the back, you will see we have a couple of ports. We have an HDMI 2.1 with eARC for lossless audio, USB-C, USB-A. Bluetooth connection is also possible, and this unit runs on Google TV OS. That also means that it has built-in casting and other smart features. Right on top of the speaker, if you open this up, it's actually a container for the two microphones and the remote control. And yes, microphones, meaning that you can also use this as a karaoke machine. You also get a little pouch here on the cover as a storage for some cables. And if we close this, you'll see here is actually a handle so that it's easy to move this thing around. Now let's move on to what I would consider to be the most exciting part of this projector. But first, we have to plug it in. And you do that by opening this little latch right here and then pulling the plug. With all the technology that's packed into this projector, you definitely need external power, so it doesn't run on its own battery, and you'll see why. As I mentioned earlier, this thing has a 7.1.4 audio setup, and how that is possible is because if you press the button at the top, you can actually deploy speakers. Simply take this off. It even has built-in legs and a mounting point for convenience. Grab the other one. And right here behind the projector, there are two additional deployable speakers. Also with built-in legs and mounting points. And now you have your crazy surround sound setup from this one unit. The great thing about this is that these are all already connected. The main unit also houses the subwoofer, so this thing is pretty crazy. And you couple that with the triple laser 4K projector, and you basically have a crazy cinema experience, whether you're indoors or outdoors. Now, obviously, setting it up in an enclosed environment such as this would be much easier to show you the features and the quality, but since this was meant to be used outdoors, I think we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna set this up in the backyard using a very special projector screen also provided to me by Nebula. Now, all I have to do is inflate it. So I just want to give you some context as to how humongous this thing is. This is 200 inches. It's insane. Honestly, I was a little afraid earlier because I wasn't sure if it was even going to fit here. Fortunately, it did. So now all I have to do is set up the projector, put it right here in the middle.
So as soon as you power on the Nebula X1 Pro, it scans the area and detects the available space and automatically adjusts the image. It centers the screen, avoids obstacles like picture frames or shelves, and fine-tunes the focus and keystones it all on its own. Now, in my own testing, I found that about 90% of the time it works flawlessly. But in case you need to adjust the keystone, you can do it manually through the menu, and it's quite easy to do. And through the settings, you can also adjust the placement, the size or the zoom, and the focus of the screen.
The ancient eucalypt forests of Australia.
Picture quality wise, the Nebula X1 Pro did not disappoint. It's super clear and very vibrant. It's kind of hard to capture on camera as I was using a small Osmo Pocket 3 to capture all the footage that you see right here. It uses a pure RGB triple laser setup, so colors look incredibly rich and accurate. None of that washed out look you usually get with cheaper projectors. The image is sharp, it's bright, and it holds up even with some ambient light in the area. Blacks look deep, highlights pop, and overall it just feels really cinematic. So whether you're watching a movie or streaming a show, it's one of those projectors that make you really appreciate how far technology has come. Now the next step is using the guide to place the speakers in the most optimal position. The tutorial will walk you through everything and it's really easy to follow. Next, it's going to automatically calibrate the audio. Now, the Nebula X1 Pro uses FlexWave, which is basically an intelligent audio calibration system. It uses built-in microphones to analyze the room and automatically adjust the sound based on the speaker placement and your listening position. The result is balanced, immersive experience no matter where you're sitting. Whether the speakers are close together, spread out, or even if the room is irregularly shaped, or even if you're outdoors. FlexWave fine-tunes everything in real time, so you basically just stay in the sweet spot. While it's not going to be accurate, I placed two small microphones around the speakers to give you an idea of what it sounds like.
Oh, get him! Get to the top! Get to the top! Sit here! Stop opening it! Let it feel with water! Let it feel that you can open the door!
I was done.
Truthfully, the bass was crazy and the sound was surprisingly immersive, even in an outdoor setting. Also, having Google TV built in just makes everything easier since I don't need to plug another streaming stick or have any extra box. It's all right there. I can sign in using my Google account, access Netflix, YouTube, Disney+. The interface is very familiar and it feels quite snappy. It's also nice that I get to see the battery status of every accessory, but what's even nicer is that once I place them back into the Nebula X1 Pro, they all charge from that main unit. Overall, I was very much impressed with the picture quality and the sound quality of the Nebula X1 Pro. It is once again worth mentioning that you need to plug this into a power outlet, but then again, because of all the technology that's built in, I think that's forgivable. That being said, there's really only one downside that I can think about this projector, and that is the price, because it's not cheap. However, it is arguably one of the very few all-in-one portable projectors that marries premium optics and full Dolby Atmos style surround sound. Also, because it's mobile, you can use it outdoors or indoors, and you don't need a full AV rack to get a cinematic experience. So I think for users who want a theater on demand without building out a dedicated room, this consolidates what would normally be many more components. But I think my favorite feature is FlexWave because I don't have to be precise with the placement of the speakers since it'll help correct for imperfect placement and even room quirks. I wish I could demo that sound here on video, but I can't. It's just one of those things that you have to experience for yourself, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. My next favorite thing about this projector is the fact that it is also something that I can share with other people, unlike some of the newer consumer tech that have been coming out over the years, which is a very personal and almost solitary experience. So at the end of the day, the Nebula X1 Pro isn't just another projector, it's a full home theater packed into one system. But I think what's really nice is that it's not just a bunch of empty promises. I personally thought it was very impressive. So if you want to learn more or see the current pricing, check out the link in the description box below. That'll take you straight to Nebula's official page with all the details. And of course, huge thanks to Nebula for sending this over for me to test out. It's been super fun, and I've got to say this thing really raises the bar for what an all-in-one projector can be. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again on the next video.